Hi Ajay, welcome to Sudeep Audio's channel.
Thank you.
You've been a part of this industry as a sound engineer for about 20 years now.
Years.
So it'll be nice for the viewers to know about how you got into this field. Because you're from Kerala
Yeah.
and now you've been in Bombay for so many years.
Came to Mumbai after FTII Pune, and it was from my school time. Like I was, I'm from a very normal family. My both were teachers. My parents both were teachers.
कोई music connection?
Music, there's no music connection. There is nobody in the family also, even now also, related to media, nobody is there actually.
Okay.
So it was like there was interest towards music. It's not everybody in the family used to listen music and appreciate music.
Like any other?
Yeah, any other normal. It's nothing like anybody's singer or anything.
Right.
But my sister used to sing, not even professional, but in the school, college competition, she used to get first prize, second prize, like that. And she learned classical music for a very time. So the teacher used to come home and teach her. We used to listen the music, like when she's learning in the other room. We have to sit quietly because there should not be any disturbance. So we are forced to listen quite. So that is where that connection towards music, and I know, like even after that she is practicing. So we are listening ragas and this and that, like, so nothing deeply, but basic. This is music. This is correct. This is wrong. This much knowledge. Slowly you will get like that. So my this FTI and everything, it just happened like. I heard about, like in the newspaper I saw about this FTI thing. So it was in mind, like there is a course, there is for the sound engineer, and it's Pune Film Institute. According to me at that time, I know only Pune Institute having this course. Another thing, like this interest toward this sound engineer thing come to my mind. I saw some video clips, some interview of somebody, and it's a live show, and one foreigner engineer is speaking about technicality and showing mixer and like that. So I was very much fascinated that that day I realized there is a field like sound engineer, and that title was very exciting to me that time. So it was in mind, and I tried to know about it and what is sound engineer. This little bit of. So then I started observing when I was going for a classical program or live show. There is a mixer, somebody sitting like that. So never any plan towards FTA, but after 10th, even I know, like for the qualification for FTI is BSc Physics or Electronics. So I was in good in science. I was continuing science only.
But
so,
you never were in that space ke radio khol diya and all that kind of
no,
things?
that technicality thing was happening, not radio, not even radio, but other electronics and electrical things that I used to do a little bit of that. That was very normal thing, nothing audio driven kind of thing. I was very much excited about the tape recorder and recording in the tape, which first thing when you come to bring a tape recorder at home, main things are recording the voice, like that is done. Naturally, sister used to sing, we used to record her, and it's like everybody does like that. Nothing like I am specially doing, but naturally that we know, plus record, red button, Panasonic, that way. Nothing very curious about it. But music was very much interested. When you come to cinema also, I don't used to not very much fascinated towards films or watching film regularly, like very selective, like not regular going and to theater or something like that. But this FTA thing was in mind, and
But any parental pressure, because they must not be very familiar with.
no, actually, if you see, when I was after graduation, I tried for Adayar Institute in the Chennai Institute first. Immediately after graduation, but that time actually they were not very interested to that. But I just send an application. I paid the fee, and like that I tried. But I couldn't attend that year because at Adyar there is no entrance test or anything. This is directly an interview kind of thing. So I couldn't go for that. So same time, one of my batchmate who was with me in the graduation, BSc Physics. So he attended FTI, and from him he couldn't clear. And so from him I got to know like this is an institute, if you can try. So what is the institute, what is about, and how their selection method. So he told me you should try if you're in. I said I tried for Adyar but I couldn't attend. So you should try for Pune. Why you are trying? It's a much bigger institute. So I tried, and when I get the letter, I mean after the test, when I'm getting an interview letter from the Pune, that time my parents was planning to go to my sister's place. When I am getting the letter around 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, their train is there, something like that. Like 2-3 hours is there, if I have to take a decision. Shall I go or not to go, like that. So finally, the decision was it's discussing with other people. It's a big institute. You should try. So I went with one of my cousins. Like I haven't gone to out of Kerala, like Bangalore. Like I haven't went alone. Like so for me, it's like my entire study happened in the same town, like school, college, everything. So no hostel, nothing. So for me, it's like a big change, and like little more than me, they are worried if वो अकेले जा सकता है, ट्रेन में जाना है, घर जाएगा. I mean language, Hindi also not very good that time. So he accompanied me. So I mean his friends were in Pune. They were studying in law college, so which is very near to FTI. So I went with him.
With full protection you went.
Yeah, protection. He came with me just for him also to meet the friends, and after the test, and I got cleared, and then my entire career is changed. But
did you enjoy the course?
Yeah, definitely. It's initially like when I got selected, I was very much in doubt. Shall I join or not? Because I don't know the job opportunities. What is this course? What is the future of it? And nobody to guide me or anything. So parents were very like doubtful. I mean, my father is very clearly, if you are interested to do anything, study, you do, and it's one of the reputed institute, and they are just selecting 10 students, 8 students from India, 2 students from abroad. Like it's very good institute. So in that time when I was going for interview, I met one engineer. There is a studio in Trichur, like Chetana studio. I mean, Francis. Well, he's an engineer there. So I went and met him. He told me he wants to try that institute, but he didn't have science graduation. He couldn't try. So he told, if you are getting, you should not rethink anything. You should go and join. So it's that is the only person I know him, and I met him, and he guided me. It's a good course and other thing. So I went to the institute, and 3 years, and everything is changed. And there actually cinema thing, learning cinema happened from there, like watching different kind of cinemas, and every day you have screening. So really worked hard the 3 years. Then
But did you miss home because you never stayed outside Kerala?
yeah, initially it had a problem. Even first year is also it was a common course. You have to do editing, camera. So for me to first 6 months very difficult to understand the thing, and so many people like in the batch, like they already knows about cinema. They learned book reading or cinema. Society connected, so they have seen so many films and discussions, seminars they attended. So for me, like every day is a new day, learning different like camera practical, editing practical. So first year I was like not even understanding anything, just going through and just surprise everywhere kind of thing. And there was a little bit of ragging in the that was also very scary. So but it just went on.
You didn't give up?
No, I didn't give up, and I continued. And from second year onwards, then specialization, and I had a very good, I mean, seniors and good connection with people. So
Did by any chance you change your mind के sound नहीं छोड़ मैं direction में जाता हूँ या you
no, nothing like that. Because I was, when I tried, I was very clear. I was interested towards camera, but being a science student and camera getting into the FTA will be a very difficult thing, because you should have a little bit of knowledge of maybe still camera or whatever, because so many people who might be coming for the test will have a little bit of experience or anything. So I was very clear about sound, and there is no doubt about that I want to change. That was very clearly, and I decided if I am going there, I will try my best to learn, because whatever it's my next career, and there is nobody to support me. Like, it's not like my parent is telling me to go for engineering tomorrow. So I am totally, they said you do whatever you want, but I know tomorrow my career I have to decide by myself, and I have to choose. So I was very clear. I have to be very particular about what we are doing and hardworking, which really happened in FTA. After FTA, I came to Mumbai. Before FTA, my first job is like, and I was in the final year student. I got a 2-3 days shooting for a documentary, and Satish PM was the recordist, and he told me like 2-3 days shoot is there in Pune. So can you? So that is my first job as a sound engineer, and it's a small DAT recorder. I have to go and interview people and some location recording kind of thing. After that, good connection happened with Satish PM, and before completing my diploma, like maybe like 20 days before, I am getting a call from him. There is a shooting in Delhi, so can you go and do? It's again a DAT recorder. Fostex PD4 was the recorder which I used. So I am getting a job before completing the thing, and I completed my course. I came to Mumbai, and it was our diploma was, I think, first color print. So the print checking was happened in AdLab. So I came AdLab checking, and after 2-3 days, I think I went to Patodi Palace and shooting for one film, and that film I don't think it's released, so it's got stuck in between. So it is 10-20 days of shoot. So I was doing location recording, and it was a really good experience, like working in the industry. So what I felt,
Did you get paid? Did you get paid?
yeah, I get paid. This very good amount that according to that, and I was very happy that the amount which I was getting, that I was very happy. But my always interest was towards studio. I was very clear I want to work in the studio, and my interest towards music. Music recording was main. Music recording and mixing was my interest. When I met so many, I taken interview at Empire Studio. I met Katuria ji. Then when I went to meet Mr. Katuria, after when I'm there and discussing with him, that time I think Daman Sood came, and he introduced me, I know sir, it's Daman Sood. So I was very much interested to work with him. Like, when being a student, I am very fascinated with two people. One is H. Sridhar and Daman Sood. So immediately, but I couldn't have interact with him. Then when I went outside, I went and met him. So he told me, you come and meet me on Monday to my studio, Western Outdoor. Then I went and met him. So Avinash ji also was there. So my career started from that, actually, as assisting.
So you got the job.
I got the job, and I was there maybe. But so my initial, the basics, because you are learning so many things from institute, but everything of basics I got cleared from Western Outdoor, because it was a good experience for me to learning.
So what kind of jobs did you have to do when
I
you
was
just joined?
I was working as a assistant engineer, basically miking, and there is a studio recorder, you have to operate that. Other than that, like, there is no moving fader automation. You have to recall snapshot, and like suppose today he's mixing, so we have to recall and keep the mixing session ready. like before he comes. And if recording is there, then you have to connect the mics and cabling and check everything is fine, everything is routed, assigned according to normal. Their assignments are there, like track 1 string, track 2. These are very basic things in most of the studio.
Finding a place in Bombay was easy for you that time to stay?
No, it was not a problem because where I was staying with, actually I think I stayed with Rasool for 6-7 months, because I was, because seniors used to help, like I was connected to Sadish, and then through Sadish I connected to Rasool. Rasool again was my 2-year senior in FTII. So I stayed with him. And I mean, before getting into the Western Outdoor, I was in between, I was doing some location recording, because they are into location recording and sound design. So I was staying with him. Then when I got a job, I shifted to with another friend, and we are sharing in Andheri East, like Mahakali Road, PMGP. So it was not difficult to get an accommodation or everything. So I worked nearly 1 year with Mr. Sood, and I was very the lifestyle in Bombay, like I have to leave around 7 o'clock, catch train and go to studio. Sometimes it's get late, you won't get the last train, come back. So it was a very hectic schedule, but it was not a hectic schedule. But I got an offer from, because one of my senior who was um, working in Hyderabad, he called me like, you already have experience with Sood Saab, and why don't you come and work with me, like we are having a good studio, big setup, so you can handle the music session and recording and mixing, because South have a different kind of culture. Like one studio, it's a big hall and a control room. They do the other than dubbing, they do the effects recording, background recording, mixing, everything of a one film. So it was a new setup. So I left Western Order and joined with him in Hyderabad. One reason was I also felt like Bombay life was too hectic, and that is also one reason. And I got a little bit of independent chance. So why don't you try, like that kind of thing was there. I went, I saw, then I worked with him. We were together working in maybe 2-3 years. And there my independent work started. Like I worked with Kiravani, I with Deva, music director, and it was really good experience, because background score recording with the video in live, you have to mix. Like even when you come to song recording, you have time to multi-track. Bombay we are used to do a multi-track recording of 24 track, then mixing. But here when you come to the film, we have a 6-track recorder. So 6-track recorder, we can have maximum to 3 stereo track. So generally one having a string, one having a rhythm mix, one having voices or anything like that. So it is in live musician playing, if I have to open the reverb, delay in live. So it was really very, you have to be very alert, and because while recording, the musician sometimes mistakes. So the mistake from my side should not happen. Then it is very bad impression in front of them. So it has to be very suddenly that we have to open the delay in the flute. We have to set the delay. So you have to be very prepared before starting the session. Reverb, delay, everything is there, and live you have to open, because you can't keep it open, because feedback will come and the noise will come. So many things you have to do. So it was a really good experience there. Like I worked there from nearly 3 to 4 years. But my senior who was there, who got married, and he went to Kerala. So I became the chief there. Like independently I started doing. I had a help from there. We used to share the work. Sometimes he do recording, I do the mixing. But I become independent. Now I have to take the entire responsibility of the studio alone, like technicality and everything. So I was doing that, and that studio was its name of the studio was Shabdalaya, and the owner was Mr. Shyam Prasad Reddy. And the colleague who I used to work with, Mr. Vinod, he is now the head in Chitranjali studio in Kerala. So we was 1 year senior, we were very close friend, and we are be in touch, not regularly, but some in a time we are in touch very much. So after that, the Hyderabad thing, I was really not very happy with because the working schedule and the detailing of work, with the way which we were doing in Bombay, which was not happening there, which I felt. And the the studio was supposed to upgrade to details, which was not happening. So these things I was getting a little bit of, and there was not much work happening. The other studios upgraded and the work was more happening in the other studio. Then I decided, why don't go back to Mumbai again. That was my option. So I am getting an offer from one day Mr. My again batchmate was Mr. Hari, who was in Empire. Empire. He left from there and he was going to other studio. So there was a vacancy, and from Empire, Mustaq is calling me, and I am shifting to Empire Studio. And I worked with Mr. Anup Dev. I studied him nearly 5-6 years. Then I got a chance to work with Kuldeep Sood. So that is my career started as a mixing engineer. The 5.1 music mix, I mean song mixers and music mixers, it's again the process is very much connected to music also there. Like when you come to the mono, there was not like much, you get a stereo track from there. You don't need to do again music mixing or anything. So this was there, so maybe I was enjoying, I continued with that and then get into the mix. After that, I assisted him nearly 4 to 5 years. Then Anupji shifted from there to other studio. So Mr. Kuldeep Sood joined there. I assisted him also. I got an experience working with a lot of people. So I could learn so many things from my seniors. And then I got a chance to Yes Raj Studio when this new setup happened. I worked with Anuj for 2-3 years. Then from there I got an independent chance to BR. BR is the place where I become the independent engineer fully and as a chief recordist. That is my change happened in the career. Right. Then BR to then Prime Focus, then to this new setup Post House. Right. So one thing which happened in my career, I got a good experience to from analog to digital. The changeover, entire changeover, because 35mm recorder, then hi8, Akai, then workstation. Then now when you talk about the Dolby thing, Dolby SR, Dolby Digital, Dolby EX, Dolby 7.1, now Atmos. So I just entered into the industry, the changeover of that digital to analog to digital, and when they come to the cinema from Dolby, entering from SR digital. So for me it was a good experience, and I could learn so many things in that. It happened with me, like my career and this everything happened together kind of thing.